This exhibit explores the interplay of dance and fashion that people wore from the waltz, quadrilles, and polka to disco and beyond. Swing brings soldiers and USO dances to mind, with sock hops, the twist, and disco on the horizon. The non-stop turns of the waltz presented an erotic opportunity for a gentleman to support his dizzy partner. The influence of neoclassicism in the 1790s resulted in light dresses that made the closed embrace of the waltz appear even more intimate. There was considerable resistance to this new dance before the polka in the 1840s. Women sported flat or low-heeled shoes, and dance instruction books enjoyed wide popularity. Fans were necessary before air conditioning. Quadrilles appeared in the 1810s, but did not become a ballroom staple until the 1840s, and they endured into the 20th century. The clothing here represents different decades in which quadrilles remained popular. At the turn of the 20th century, Americans found inspiration in the African American community, beginning with Scott Joplin's rags, launching the ragtime craze. Early 20th century fashions intermixed textiles and trims for a light yet luxurious style. The trend towards short dresses began during the 1910s. Couples dances took precedence, including the foxtrot and tango. The phonograph record appeared around 1900, bringing popular bands into the home. Americans now originated and exported popular culture to Europe. The 1920s ushered in the jazz age with new musical forms and fashions embraced by a society recovering from World War I. The African-American musical Runnin' Wild debuted the Charleston in 1923. It became the dance craze. Hemlines experienced their own rise and fall during the 1920s and were at their shortest in 1925 before starting to lower again. Fancy dress or costume balls date back centuries and often had associations with licentious behavior enabled by masks and disguises. This cat and fiddle outfit from the 1930s represents the type of costumes that could appear at masquerade balls. From dancing schools to dancing at schools was a small step, and American high schools, colleges, and universities organized dances for a wide variety of celebrations. High school proms still feature new clothes for this significant date night. These gowns are identified to proms held between 1927 and 1965. Ragtime dances opened the door to Latin influences, which continued to expand in the 1930s. The shag, Susie Q, swing waltz, and continental also enjoyed great popularity. This brown and orange velvet evening gown represents the typical bias cut of the decade. Gathers and a straight shoulder line represent the very end of the 1930s, seen on this floral evening gown, and announce the power shoulder look of fashions of the 1940s. African American contributions of choreography and music continued in the 1930s and 40s, but their originators remained excluded. The rhythms of ragtime and jazz now evolved into swing. The American teenager focused on records, music, and dancing. Rock and roll, another African American innovation, became the new phenomenon. Energetic youth embraced the fast-paced jitterbug. The end of wartime privations resulted in long, full skirts for women. This reversible skirt with built-in crinoline was worn in high school in 1959. The 1960s brought dances performed alone or facing a partner, each doing his or her own thing. The miniskirt was often combined with go-go boots. In the 1970s, disco brought couples back together in a closed ballroom position. The polyester leisure suit maintained a dressy look, however, the men's high heels added their own challenge. Dance evolves and integrates costume, changing cultural and gender norms, as well as social and racial history.